Hello everyone, this is Faze and welcome back to my channel. 2021 was the year of the Kindle Paperwhite. It absolutely stole the limelight from its elder brother, the Kindle Oasis. Now the Kindle Oasis has always been that flagship model with its large display, the page turn buttons, and its premium design. And then you look at the Kindle Paperwhite. Now it's got a 6.8-inch display, very close to the 7-inch display of the Kindle Oasis. However, it got additional features that the Kindle Oasis does not have. For the first time ever, we got wireless charging on a Kindle. Now you would assume that the Oasis, being the flagship model, have that, but it doesn't. It's the Kindle Paperwhite. USBC offers much faster charging and data uploads, and that's something that the Kindle Oasis also does not have. So the lines got a little blurry between the Kindle Oasis and the Kindle Paperwhite. The big differentiating factor between the two is the page turn buttons, to be very honest. So the question rises, what should we expect from the next generation Kindle Oasis? So here are my thoughts. First off, 2021 was the year of the Kindle Paperwhite, and we already established that. So I think 2022 will be the year for the Kindle Oasis. I think it will finally be the year where it reclaims that flagship status and gives us better updates and upgrades that differentiates itself from the Kindle Paperwhite. I think it's going to have a larger display. There are a lot of rumors floating around that it's going to have a larger display. In fact, I'm using the Kobo Sage right now to review it for you guys, and I'm very impressed with the 8-inch display that it has. And I think that that same display size will be adopted by the Kindle Oasis. Plus, that gives it a differentiating factor, right? Because the Kindle Paperwhite has a 6.8-inch display, which is very close to the 7-inch display of the current Kindle Oasis. So it only makes sense that the Kindle Oasis gets an even larger display. USB-C. I think USB-C is kind of a given because USB-C it's an industry standard for phones, tablets, e-readers, so it only makes sense that the new Kindle Oasis will have USB-C. I do think it'll also include wireless charging because I think wireless charging is kind of becoming the new norm for all handheld gadgets. I don't think the Kindle needs wireless charging. In fact, I don't think any e-reader for that matter needs wireless charging. In fact, I've done an entire video on how I find wireless charging to be quite a bit of a gimmick on these devices. But anyways, it's a feature, people like it, people enjoy it, and it's nice to have at times. So I do think that the new Kindle Oasis will have some sort of wireless charging capabilities. Now, wireless charging doesn't really work well with metal backs. So I do think that Amazon will provide some sort of a different back on the Kindle. So for an example, right now it's a very metal aluminum back. So I think they might adopt a grippier kind of a back similar to the Kobo Sage, which people really love the texturized feel of the Kobo Sage. And I think Amazon might do the same. Performance. I think this year we will get a huge performance upgrade unlike any other Kindle. And I say that because the Kindle Paperwhite got a huge performance upgrade. It got 20% faster, specifically when it comes to page turns. And that makes a huge difference in your day-to-day reading. So Kindle Oasis being the flagship model will probably get even faster. So I do think that the page flips will be even faster than the current Kindle Paperwhite, but of course only time will tell. But I do bet my money on the fact that it will become a lot faster than the current Kindle Paperwhite and the current Kindle Oasis. Last but certainly not the least, I think they're going to do some updates with the buttons. When I first got the Kindle Oasis, I like the buttons. I don't necessarily think I need it. I don't mind tapping the screen. But one of the things I don't like about the current generation Kindle Oasis is the buttons and the noise it makes and how you have to apply a little bit of force to actually click the buttons. Now, when you look at the Kobo Sage and other e-readers out there that have buttons on the side, it's not super duper clicky. It's just like you give it a slight tap and it turns. You don't have to apply so much force. So that's one of the complaints that I've heard from a lot of other Kindle Oasis users, that the buttons are kind of rigid and they're not the best to use at times. So I do think that Amazon will update the page turning buttons on the Kindle Oasis because at the end of the day, the goal for any company is to improve upon its device. right? And the Kindle Oasis is a great device. I have one. I've used it for the longest time before the current Kindle Paperwhite, and I do like it. I think it's a great device, but I think if they make these enhancements with a larger display, wireless charging, USB-C, faster performance, better page turning buttons, you know, that will make it a big differentiating device when you compare it to the current Kindle Paperwhite. Because right now, there's not much of a big difference between the two. The only difference really comes down to the page turning buttons and its ergonomic design, which, to be frank, I'm not a fan of that design because I like symmetry, but I also know a lot of people like it. So those are the updates that I anticipate Amazon coming out with. I do feel like summer of 2022 is when we'll probably see this device come out. But anyways, I'm really excited about the new Kindle Oasis. I'm sure this will be the year that it reclaims its flagship model status. But what are your thoughts? And what are the things that you want Amazon to put in the new Kindle Oasis? Comment below, let me know. Till then, I'll see you next time.